Hello, I would like to show and demonstrate in this little video how you can use PowerPoint to create interactive slide presentations that are not sequential but instead are controlled by the user. So I hope this is a useful tutorial for you.
Okay, this demonstration is a demonstration of how to use the interactive features of PowerPoint. When I create a PowerPoint, I find that it's always the most useful if I begin with an outline that I create on a piece of paper or using a word processor, Inspiration, or some other way, and then go into the outline part of PowerPoint and just type in my outline, at least make the headings for each page. I find that this overall structure then allows me to fill in the details as I go, much like I was writing a paper or painting a painting where I did a sketch and then filled in the details. Almost anything that we do that's creative is done this way. So I would start with a slide that would be my title slide. Say I'm going to create a presentation on photosynthesis. And of course I would fill in more details later with my name, etc. And then I'd want a slide with my standard and my objectives. Then I would want an introduction slide where I'm going to put in some introductory material that I'm hoping will get the attention and engagement of my students. Then for each of my objectives I'm going to have content. That would be the vocabulary words or other concepts that our students need to understand in order to meet that objective, and then activities. And I might have several of these pages, but just for this example I'll just leave one in. So then I would have content for each of my objectives. So content for objective 2, content, activities for objective 2, and I would have content for objective 3 and 4 if I have them. I'm just going to use 2 to make this video a little bit shorter. Then I would finish with a summary page and then a page for my resources. So this gives me the overall form and outline for my project, and it also shows that I'm going to have 9 slides in my show. So let's say I wanted to make these interactive, so I didn't have to go with a typical PowerPoint. You have to start with the first slide and go to the second slide and then the third, and if you want to go back to the first one you have to go back through the second one and back to the first one. You can't jump around and go directly to where you want to go. But with an interactive PowerPoint you're allowed to, the user, whoever is running the PowerPoint, by clicking on buttons can choose where they would like to go for their next slide. So what we need to know how to do here is how to create buttons. And I'm going to make a little more room here at the bottom of this slide. Actually, I want to go back to my top slide. And I'm going to create buttons that would allow me to go to any one of these slides from any other slide. And the way I do that is I go up to the Insert tab on Insert ribbon on PowerPoint, and I'm just going to insert a shape, and I'm just going to make some fairly simple buttons that are rectangular, and I chose a shape that's kind of rounded on the corners, something like this. And I know I'm going to need 9 of them. I'm going to make these about big enough maybe that I could get 4 across. So I'll create one. I'm going to hit Control C and copy that, and I'm going to paste it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more times. Then I can take those and lay them out where I want them to be. So let's just do a row there, a row here, a row here, and that gives me 8, and I'm going to have to have one more. Notice when I copied that and made copies, pasted copies, they all end up being the same shape, and I like that because it makes them uniform. I can also use my arrow keys to move these to give myself a little more control than I have with the mouse. So then I want to go in and I want to put my names on these, so this would take me back to the beginning. And then I have one that I want to take me to my standards and objectives. I have one for the introduction page, one for my content for objective 1, my activities for objective 1, content for objective 2, activities for objective 2, then I have my summary and my resources page. Now once I have these created, then I can link them, and these are actually just regular old hyperlinks. And remember, when we create hyperlinks, we need two things. We need something to click on, and then we need some place to go. These buttons have created what we're going to click on. So if I right click on one of the buttons, I can choose the hyperlink option, and then if I choose a place in this document, I can hyperlink to any place I want to go. And notice one of the reasons why I wanted to create at least the title for each of these slides is now my slides all are labeled when I go to hyperlink to them, so it's real easy to pick which one I want to go to. If I don't create those slides first and I don't have a good title, it can be kind of confusing trying to figure out where I want to link to. So I'm going to link to a place in this document. I'm going to choose the page that I want to link to and say OK. That creates a hyperlink to that page. I'll do that for each one. Hyperlink place in this document to the standards and objectives. I'll hyperlink here to a place in this document to the introduction page. Here's a hyperlink to the content for objective 1, hyperlink content for objective 2, or activities for objective 1, sorry, hyperlink now I'm noticing that there's something that's happening here. Hyperlink to the content for objective 2. I did that wrong. Content for objective 2. I can highlight that and edit the hyperlink and change it to content for objective 2. Notice some of these have the word highlighted as the link and others don't. What I forgot to do here is if I right click within the word and create a hyperlink, activities for objective 2, you'll notice the word that I clicked in will become the link because it'll become blue and underlined. If I click outside of the word and hit hyperlink, and I hyperlink this to the summary page, now the word is not highlighted, but the whole button is the hyperlink. I really would prefer to have the whole button be the hyperlink. I would have to go back and redo these. I won't, just for time purposes here. So the key here is I'm going to click outside and hyperlink to my resources page. This is where I'd have my link to my track star, etc. I have a little formatting that I need to work on here, but you can understand, you can see what's happening. Now, just to show you what happens here, when I run this show, I'm going to save just so I don't have a problem of losing something. When I run this show, you will see that I get to I click on the buttons. You can't see that in this video because it's on a different screen, but when I click on the buttons, it takes me to the page that that button is linked to. Okay, so now I'm going to go back, get out of that show. I'm going to go back to my first page, and I kind of have a mess here because I've got some hyperlinks that are not the way I want. But rather than take the time to fix them right now, I'm going to go on, assuming that you understand what I'm talking about here. Let's say I want those same buttons on every page. I can take my mouse, put it over here, hold it down, and drag a box around all of those buttons. You notice they'll all become linked together, or they'll all become highlighted. I can copy those. If I hit Control-C, I can now go to each page and paste those buttons on each page, and I'll get the identical buttons, and the hyperlinks will go with them. So it's real easy to make a kind of a table of contents of buttons on each page, so that no matter where I am, I can always get to every other page in my document. So that's what I did. Just to wrap up and review here, I went to the Insert ribbon. I chose a shape. I drew the shape I wanted. I labeled that button whatever I wanted it to say. I right-clicked on it, and I would prefer that you right-click outside of the word so the whole button becomes the hyperlink. I chose hyperlink. I chose the hyperlink to a place in this document. I chose the page I wanted it to hyperlink to, hit OK. Then once I had all the buttons created and hyperlinked, I copied them onto each page, and now I have a document that's totally interactive. That's all for this video. I'm going to create another video that shows you how to use these same tools and skills to create things like quizzes.